Alright, what's up, guys? So, today I'm going to talk about the Hori Real Arcade Pro Premium VLX arcade stick. In other stick reviews that I've done, I've shown this arcade stick for size comparison and stuff, and a lot of people have asked for a review on it, so I thought I'd talk about it today. First of all, I think the most important thing to note here is that this is the most expensive arcade stick that you could buy from one of the major manufacturers, which are Mad Catz and Hori. It costs $299, so 300 bucks, and that's a lot of money for an arcade stick. Now, when you pay that much money for something, I mean that's the same price as a PlayStation 3. So, you're gonna be wondering, what am I paying for? Is this worth the money? Well, I got to tell you that every piece of this, like this whole portion right here, all of this and the entire back is made out of metal, and it's not just some shitty metal. This is like hardcore arcade cabinet metal. The sides here are made of plastic. This top portion is made of plastic, but it's all crafted really well. So as far as components go, it uses all Sanwa parts, Sanwa stick, Sanwa buttons, all high quality, and the materials that the case is made out of is also really good quality. So, it doesn't seem like they skimped on any of the components. Now, the other thing that you have to think about is, functionality. I mean, I'm spending this much money on a stick. Does this stick feel good? Now, if you're after emulating the arcade, I don't think there's another arcade stick that exists that emulates a Japanese arcade cabinet as well as this one does. This one truly feels as close to a Japanese arcade cabinet as you can get at home. Especially if you have some kind of custom setup where you can like sit this thing down on a table over your lap. That really, really makes it feel just like the arcade. But it's important to remember that depending on what type of a player you are you the type of player that's going to go to tournaments and travel a lot and compete? Or are you the type of player that just enjoys having the arcade experience at home and is going to just leave this at a stationary station? Um, Personally, this thing weighs about 12.5 pounds and it's huge. I mean, it's gigantic. There's all this excess space on the side, which emulates the Taito machine, which is what the whole point of the VLX Taito machine, and it's licensed by Taito. It says Taito right there and there. So it's supposed to emulate the arcade cabinet, and it does that very well. But the problem is, a side effect of emulating an arcade cabinet is that it's kind of unwieldy. So if you're going to be taking this thing around, first of all, I highly, highly recommend that you purchase the carrying case that they have. When I first got this, I actually took this arcade stick to Evolution 2 years ago, and I used it there. But at that time, they had not made the carrying case yet. So what I had to do is I had to go to like a Big Five or whatever sports chalet and buy one of those bags that you put baseball bats in, because it was the only bag that I could find that would fit this big ass arcade stick. And even then, this thing is so huge, it's like really inconvenient to be carrying this thing around. It's like heavy and big and just really inconvenient for someone who travels. Not to mention, you invested $300 in this thing. Is it really is something that you want to do? Traveling around, putting this thing on an airplane, maybe? Like it's just personally, I'm never taking this shit anywhere again. I mean, I like it. It feels really good. It just feels just like an arcade machine. But it's just worth so much money, and it's so pretty, and, it's so unwieldy that, why would I even take it anywhere? I just want to leave it at home and enjoy it on my bookcase. So that's another really important thing to think about when you're trying to purchase this arcade stick. Now, the stick itself comes with 8 face buttons. It comes with 2 button plugs. And one of the major issues that I have with this arcade stick is that even though when you plug these 2 buttons, that kind of leaves this much space between the start button and the rest of the buttons, I still think that the start button is too close. And I don't like that the start button is on the face. So that's kind of something to consider if you really hit your buttons really hard, or if you like to like mash out shit. You could accidentally hit start. That is an issue. that can't be ignored. But one of the really cool features of this arcade stick is that this is where you put the cable, which is not that cool. But one problem is this door. After a while, it just keeps falling off. So it's not broken. You can like snap it back into place, but yeah, I noticed that it keeps falling off. So that's something to note. But the way you get into the arcade stick, I've already removed two of these bolts, but they're hand screws, and you just unscrew them. You don't need a screwdriver or anything. And when you do that, you open it up just like a real arcade cabinet. And I think that's fucking so cool. All the wiring done in here is just super, super neat and tidy. There's a lot of room in here for other, stuff. I don't know. It's just roomy, which is nice. The stick came with these zip ties, which is not that big of a deal. I think they cost like a penny each and shit. But when you use the button plugs to plug these two buttons, you're gonna have four excess wires right here. So you can zip tie those to the rest of the harness, which is really nice. Everything's really neat in here. On top of that, there is these two little areas where you can store two Sanwa buttons inside the stick. So anytime you have a problem or an issue with a button going out, you have two extra ones inside the arcade stick that you can swap out instantly because they're quick disconnects. So I gotta say that's pretty fucking cool. Also, underneath has this like, it's kind of it's not felt. It's like this rubbery kind of mouse pad type of thing, and it's good. But I think it's much better on the 8-arc sticks with the felt, so you don't get that squishy feeling, and it doesn't move at all on your lap. So it's good, but there are some problems with it. As you can see, that door falls off. It's really large and difficult to carry around and transport. And the start button is on the face, which that's kind of like a pet peeve to me, but maybe some people don't care. So, I guess the conclusion here is, depending on what type of a person you are and what you're buying this for, it may be worth the money or it may not. If you're the type of person who likes to travel to tournaments and wants to take this thing around everywhere with him, I would not recommend this arcade stick. It's very heavy, the start button's on the face, and it's just big. It's hard to deal with, and not to mention it's a big investment, so you don't necessarily want to take it and check it onto an airplane or whatever. So if that's the case, I would not recommend it. However, if you are the type of person who has like a really nice setup at home or wants to emulate the arcade at home, you can't get a better arcade stick for that than this. It feels like the arcade Taito cabinet, which I have played on, and it feels identical to it. It's made with really great parts. It functions really well, and I would highly recommend it if that's the case, if that's what you're looking for. So yeah, that's really important to think about before you purchase this arcade stick. Because if you think about it, you can buy two Mad Cat sticks or two 8-arc arcade sticks for the price of this one arcade stick, which is pretty fucking preposterous. Just think about that for a minute. So it's kind of like a luxury stick. It's kind of like one of those things that if you're a collector, you might want it, but I don't know. You got to think about what you're going to do with it and if it's worth your money. Anyway, do me a solid, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and if you have any other suggestions on arcade sticks or related peripherals that you would like me to review, just send me a comment or an email or whatever. Alright guys, catch you later.